Okay. Session 3 of Blades in the Dark. We've got our cast here ready. We've been talking off camera about how excited we've been for the past 2 weeks to get this going. Yes, Nate, this is not Sudoku, so this is a little bit different. Appreciate you coming by, buddy. We have got a lot going on. So I'll do a quick catch up. This is Session 1 was the first of their scores. Session 2 was their downtime, and now they're about to go on a second score. It's gonna be the third episode. So let's kind of bring us where we are. We've got the 4 of them are now going to be dropped in this traditional Blades fashion in media res. But let's kind of do a little bit of review. So first, relationships. Based off of where you got started and what happened on the last score, you guys are currently +1 relationship with the blue coats, so a helpful relationship with the blue coats, a helpful relationship with the lost, and a friendly relationship with the crows because you were able to get a hold of some material that could have caused problems for the crow leader. You are now -2 with the Dimmer Sisters because of your hunting grounds. You're -1 with the Bill Hooks because of where your hidden lair is. More importantly, you are now hostile with the Hive because that's whose home you broke into to steal that last batch. You guys decided as a crew that you wanted to establish a covert drop area. So you're going after a claim, as it's called here in Blades in the Dark. And you did a little bit of poking around, and Elias did some gathering of information, and you discovered that in Nightmarket, there's a noodle shop, which has been called the Brothed and Found by one of our viewers, and it is run by the Keshin family. And they secretly, out of the back of this noodle shop, they run a small exchange of arcane artifacts. They sell arcane artifacts. When approached by Galen, they said, yes, we would be willing to allow you to, basically drop stuff here as part of your scores. You could have us as a covert drop, but we need a favor from you. And that favor is they have a competitor, a rival, also in Nightmarket by the name of Gildy Loveridge. And let me quickly show you a picture of Miss Gildy. Give me just a second. And there she is, the lovely Gildy Loveridge. Gildy is a fortune teller. And out of the back of her little fortune telling shop, she also sells arcane artifacts. So Elias did a little bit of more research and found out that it was the hounds that were supplying her with those artifacts. They were taking him off their boat in the docks. They were taking him through Crow's Foot, and they were dropping the shipment off in Crow's Foot, in a warehouse in Crow's Foot. And it would sit there for a couple days. They would then pick it up a couple days later and take it to her. So you guys decided to use stealth as your approach. And you're going to head into that warehouse while the crates are sitting there, and then you're going to sabotage it somehow. That is the plan. So you're using stealth to go in. So very quickly, the engagement roll, you guys rolled a 3 and a 1, which means you're starting off in a desperate position. And we need to quickly go over loadouts. So Reagan, what loadout are you taking?
Well, since everything's going to be very spooky, and I'm adept at dealing with spooky things, I'm taking a normal load.
Normal load. How about Cornelius?
So I'm going normal load for sure. I need more of those sticky glues, right? Last time.
Okay. And how about Galen?
I'm also going with normal load. No need to look like we're here to do anything other but crime.
All right. And last but not least, Elias.
Yeah, normal load as well.
So much for stealth,
perfect.
right?
All right, well, let's get going with our second score. So let me set the scene. So the camera fades in from black, and it pans around the inside of a large warehouse on the brink of collapse. We can see the window where the crew entered in on a second-story balcony that surrounds the interior. The ladder you all use to descend down from this catwalk is rusted and appears as unreliable as the metal balcony you came in on. Each of you silently dropped from the ladder and made your way to a stack of wooden boxes in the center of the warehouse. There are only crates, and they all seem new. The rest of the containers all around them are all falling apart along with this forgotten warehouse. We see Cornelius take a crowbar as he quietly tries to open one of the stacked crates that were smuggled in here by the foxhounds the day before. We can see Reagan, Elias, and Galen standing close, looking around for trouble. For weeks, Elias tracked the smuggling pattern of the foghounds. They're the ones that are supplying these arcane artifacts to Gildy Loveridge. She's a proposed seer, fortune teller, and she sells magical items from the back of her small fortune-telling shop in Nightmarket. Elias figured out that the foxhounds first brought her crates to this decaying warehouse in Crowsfoot. The smuggled goods would then sit in the warehouse until days later when the foghounds would just show up and pick up those crates and take them to Loveridge's shop. Minutes before, you got to one of the warehouse balconies by crossing nearby roofs and you broke in through a window. The building is dark and it's painted in shadows, murky and deserted. Rows and aisles of stacked crates in various states of decay and rot cover the warehouse floor. Rats scurry through the shadows, dodging the light from the elusive paired moons that shine through the broken rooftop. Water pools in places on the floor, and the rain falls through the same dilapidated roof that let in the moonlight. Cornelius finally opens the first crate, and it contains plain trinkets, vases, and simple jewelry. Now, Cornelius, you have seen imbued powerful artifacts before. These all appear to be just ordinary. At the same time, Reagan starts looking around at the ground, and she notices patterns engraved on the floorboards and around the stack. Runes and designs, some carved into the wood, some drawn onto the wood, and some burned into the wood floor. She knows these symbols and that these patterns are used for rituals that can't immediately be discerned. Reagan also sees a child's shoe next to the crates. She looks up towards Cornelius, who looks puzzled by the crate's contents. Elias calls for quiet. He raises his finger up to his lips before Reagan can point out what she just discovered. Elias, you can hear light footsteps from around the stack of crates and debris and the broken items. They're soft and they're getting closer. All right. That is where we are. So, Elias, to give you an idea, there's footsteps and you can't discern whether what type of footsteps they are. But you recognize them. As soon as you tell everybody to be quiet, Cornelius, you freeze. You stop messing around with the crates and the trinkets. Reagan, you have now looked up. Galen, you've had your head on a swivel. You guys can hear it too. And these footsteps are all around you.
I would pointedly recommend not moving until we know what this is.
I'm basically frozen, like with crowbar in my hand, like just not even looking around, just with the eyeballs, waiting for what's going to happen. Could we say from the steps all around us, like if it's like tens of men or just a few guys?
You have no idea if they're footsteps of human beings. You have no idea at all. You can just hear the patter of footsteps. So the next thing that happens is you start hearing noises. coming, surrounding you as well.
I don't like this game.
What are you talking about? This game's so fun.
Galen, frozen since Reagan said pointedly don't move, is just moving his eyes, is gonna look at her and raise one eyebrow, like, this is your ball game.
Yeah, I'm gonna very carefully and slowly start like unclipping the mask from where it lies on my side, and now that we're actually watching her put it on, it doesn't seem to have any back clasp. It just sits perfectly formed to the contours of her face. And I would love to have like a look around if it's not immediately obvious what the hell is doing a big growl.
So as you put the mask on, Reagan, as you lift your head up, Elias, you're seeing the shadows now moving in between the crates, the ring of debris and crates around you. And you see forms taking the gaps. Right now you see 3 of these forms. As your eyes adjust, let's see. You see these creatures. Now, they look like a mixture of hyena or a hound, and they are easily chest high. So they are large, and there's 3 of them. And they've got just this low growl. And they seem to be stalking. So they're not coming closer. They just have now blocked the 3 exits. The areas where unless you climb, you guys are now stuck. The only thing between the crates, yourself, and getting outside of this area of the warehouse where you are these creatures.
So they are they are just basically guarding the exit, but not charging us, right?
Exactly. They seemed. It's hard to tell whether they're stalking, looking for opportunity, but they're not closing in.
And only Reagan can see them. Is that right?
Oh no, all 4 of
the
you can
mask?
see them.
Okay. Oh, so we can see them all now.
Yep.
Now you can shit your pants already.
Yeah. Good thing I brought a fresh pair of underwear.
Yeah.
Be
All
sure
right,
to
we
mark
got-
it off your load.
I need someone to do something, or I'm going to do something.
Oh, why do I have so many items in the bandolier?
I feel like Reagan is going to be kind of like watching how these dogs are like pacing around and almost like trying to get a read on if they have like, obviously they have a purpose here, but it's more defining about like the nature of them, like what that purpose is.
Okay. So you're trying to get a sense of intent. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. And how do we wish to do that?
I think if I spend like enough time like being like not moving and just observing, I think it's study.
Study? I'm okay with study. I would like this to be... Let's think here. I think it is definitely... Why are my notes screwy here? Hold on. I gotta close my notes. So it's gonna be standard and with limited effect.
So controlled with
Not
limited?
controlled, risky. I'm sorry, risky with limited.
Yeah. Cool. We're early in the game. I'll just take that roll. Hey.
Wow.
Very
You do.
nice.
Hey.
Nice, we win. Game over.
Yep, that's it.
Very.
Oh, you
very
jinxed
nice.
it.
We solved your dog riddle.
So with that six, it's a full success, right? With no consequences. As best as you can tell, this is with a limited effect though. As best as you can tell, Reagan, they are interested in you staying exactly where you are. So you definitely get the sense that they have established a perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of the growling, there's no other signs of aggression. Though as each of the three dogs is pacing slowly over the little area that they're covering, they never, ever take their eyes off of you.
So I'll just kind of aside. Like, I'm pretty sure they can hear and probably understand. They look demony. I'll just kind of say, well, we can get done what we want because they just want to keep us here, presumably for less, or hopefully less, occult reinforcements.
Hey, Craig, you mentioned the floor was like a made of some sort of a wood with the carvings.
Yeah, so the floor itself is a wooden floor, and you can, if you look down, you can notice it now too. And I'm sure that Reagan has gestured towards it at some point. Yeah. But I want you to imagine a ring that surrounds these crates. Within the ring, there are these runes, and the ring and these runes, some of them are drawn on there, like with charcoal. Some of them are burned into the wood. Some of them are carved permanently into the wood as well. So it's a mixture, and it doesn't appear to be haphazard. It seems very deliberate what is done in charcoal, what is burned into the wood, and what is carved into the wood.
Gotcha. Is there any signs that we might be on a second floor, if there's a basement below that, to see if there's an escape route down?
You have that you are not aware of. There's no holes in the flooring.
Okay.
Galen will look over at Reagan and go, well then, Eustacia, I'd say we get done our job then, step one, and then we worry about leaving. Maybe we can find some stakes for them.
So, do we have the thing?
So Reagan, you haven't looked in these crates yet. Do you? Vaslev or Cornelius is the only one that's looked inside these crates.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Sensing, since Elias is sensing what my crew is trying to do is to look into those crates a little bit closer. I'm going to take a short step forward, kind of push my trench coat out a little bit, and ensure that my fine pair of pistols, as it's labeled, are easily accessible. And I'm going to kind of try to get at least two of the dog's eyes away from the group and towards myself, so that it takes some heat off of the crates themselves. So I'm going to kind of etch in between two of them towards maybe a far wall or a corner.
Yep, we can definitely do that. Kind of have you break away from the pack and see if you can't gather their attention. Now you're opening up your coat. You've got your two pistols there. Now is that loadout built in, or do you need to mark those?
They're part of the. No, it's not built in, so I do need to account for them.
Yep. So let's go ahead and count that as part of your load.
And then, knowing the district I'm in, did I need to announce that I wanted electroplasmic ammo as well as an option?
So let's talk about how, for those watching that aren't familiar with it, the way loads work is you choose the level, right? So in your case, I think you picked normal, right, Nick?
Yeah, so 5.
And
yeah.
what is the normal allot you?
I guess it's not predetermined on my sheet.
Well, it gives you a number.
5. Sorry.
5. Yep. So I'm going to actually bring this up so people can see here. So you choose a 5 normal, right? So that means that basically you can click 5 dots. So right now you've picked the fine pair of pistols, right?
Yep.
So that means you've got 4 boxes left you can check. So for example, if you wanted to choose a large weapon, which your rifle would count as right now, you would have to click 2 of those boxes. So now you have used up 3 of your 5 load. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And what's
it's
great
something that
about it...
Oh, good.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say you're getting there. I was gonna ask exactly where you're going.
Yep. So what's great about this, and well, part of why I like Blades in the Dark, is it allows you to choose what you brought with you as you need it. Which instead of you having to plan and decide how you're going to pack your pockets, which I think is wonderful. All right, so you've got your fine pistols. You've got them at your hip. Are you drawing them, putting your hands on them, or just making them visible?
I'm getting it not even visible, but just clearing the path to grab them if I need them.
Got it. So you've got quick access to them. So I'm imagining the coat going back so that you'll be able to grab both pistols with ease. You move away, Elias, from kind of where the crates are. And and to give you an idea of a diameter here, the perimeter that these hyena dogs have established is like 35 feet. So you've got a little bit of room to work with here. As you pull away, the two dog hyena things are definitely focused on you. So you have pulled the attention of 2 of these things away. The other one that's farther away from your walk, because they're at a triangle, as you're walking away from, that one is still concentrated on the other 3.
Okay.
Seeing that, Galen, seeing that our other 2 friends are going to be actually doing the work, Galen is going to walk to essentially the other end of the triangle, as far not of the dogs, but as far as where they're going to be focused. And he's going to lift up from one of his pockets a Spirit Bane charm, just as kind of a look at the cross vampire. You don't want to see anything else.
And do you want to explain what your Spirit Bane does?
So Spirit Bane is essentially, as far as the rulebook says, it's a totem that basically works like a cross does on vampires. If this is something that ghosty goos and demons and things aren't supposed to like. It doesn't. The book doesn't really get into specifics beyond that.
And that's why I'm asking you. So what do you want to do?
So Galen is definitely he's not a fan of the superstitious side of things when it actually confronts him. He loves using it against people, but it's creepy to him. He doesn't like it. This is something that he's had. It's a lucky charm, essentially. He's had since the war, and he used it to get around other things. It's actually something from... oh, dang it, what was her name? I will look that up later. I don't want to slow us down, but it is
That's
from
right.
a former contact, his handler, during the war, and it was something that she gave him as a lucky keep safe. And yeah.
All right, so you've got this item, and you've kind of put it out in front of you a little bit as you go towards the third hyena. I'm going to call it the third hyena that's not focused right now on Elias, right? And it seems very concentrated on this item that you're holding. It doesn't appear to be afraid of it at this point, but it definitely recognizes it and has focused on it. So if the goal for Elias and Galen were to get these hyenas to focus on Galen and Elias, that is a done deal. They are definitely not paying attention or not as focused on Reagan and Cornelius right now.
Oh, and I realize what you were actually asking us to describe it. It is a pyramid prism where the edges are covered in silver.
Got it. Their pacing increases. Go ahead.
So Reagan, do you want to check this? I don't understand any of this, and I'm like trying to whisper, but realizing that they don't care at all that I whisper.
Yeah. Now that like attention is off, us, I'm gonna like again, still like maintaining being very like slow and like deliberate about this, because who knows how their senses work. I'm gonna like start looking through the one crate that we have open. Like I'm not touching anything immediately unless it like becomes interesting. But yeah, just kind of giving it a look over.
Now, the mask you're wearing, Reagan, do you think that would this give you any type of visibility or insight into whether these are imbued or not, or if there's anything special? How does your mask work?
Yeah, so it allows the trained user to see supernatural energies in great detail and also offers some protection against possession. So there is, I don't want to say like a like D&D detect magic like aura,
Sure.
because I think it's more interesting for like, because of how things work within the veil. It's less of me seeing an aura around it. It's more of me. It's almost like oh god, I'm probably gonna butcher this, but it's more like psychometry, where it's like you're like looking at the history of the item, like in a brief moment.
So when you look on the mask and you look in it, you can tell there's nothing in the veil that's attached to these items. Now, that does not mean that they're not arcane, but there is nothing ghost veil related that's tying to these items themselves. So if there is a magic or any supernatural aspect to them, it is not related to the veil.
Well, it could be some demon mess, which is not my area of expertise, but
Okay,
we could try something or open another crate and see how that goes.
I would be scared with the another crate with these ducks around us. Let's see if I can try some of my tricks if it's not connected to the veil and see what we got there. So I'm not sure like the items work as I intend to use them, right? It's not like given like this item gives you +1. That's my understanding of the equipment here.
Yeah, we'll discuss it. So you tell me what you want, and we have the conversation.
So I was thinking, we know we will be working with some arcane items or with some kind of magic. So I was thinking like using my arcane implements. There, they mentioned pouch of black salt or vial of electroplasm. I would use some of these items, maybe sprinkle it little bit over the items, trying to like from my past as a trader. I was like evaluating if the items have some magic properties, right? So I would have like this small rituals, this small analysis. You can imagine I would have a monocle checking the item close up, and I would be able to, let's say, understand if they really possess some kind of magic or if they're just fake stuff, plain.
Sure. So why don't you walk me through it then? So where do you pull this out of? What is it, and what do you do, and what are you expecting to see if they are in fact are imbued?
So it's a pouch of items mainly. Maybe there would be the black salt. So I pull it out of my coat. I put it on one of the closed boxes, and I use it as an improvised table. And I will try to first, without touching the items, maybe sprinkle it on top of it, and maybe it would react. It would glow a little bit or something like that. That I would not. It reacts with this black salt. There is for sure something happening there, and my intention is to understand if they are magical or not.
Yep. So I imagine the pouch, and you pull out of this little leather handmade pouch this black salt, and kind of almost like it's explosive. You kind of treat it very gentle, and you bring it away, and you kind of turn your head away a little bit, and you sprinkle it over the items that are in this crate. Absolutely nothing happens. So whatever reaction you were expect happen.
So, gentlemen, I think we have the wrong box. Let's try the other ones. Maybe it's somewhere else. Maybe we.
And Elias, you can confirm these are the crates that the fog hounds brought in. Now you haven't looked at all of them. There's about 5 of them stacked, but this was one of the 5 that were brought in. Reagan, through the mask, you are now sensing something happening with the runes. So the runes were dead to the mask before, and you now see just a very slight greenish tinge, like filling the carvings, like almost like they were troughs with water. So there's just a little bit of green that seems to to be filling the runes themselves.
Cool. I would like to try a thing then, if that's the case.
Yep.
I would like to try and divert the power or like the magic or whatever's happening in the veil from filling the runes into another vessel. So something like a spirit bottle, for example.
Okay, and do you have a spirit bottle?
I certainly can have one.
Okay.
I can actually have 3 of them.
All
So
right. Let's start with one.
yeah. I'll mark off the. Let me just double check because I believe the arcane implements do include.
Yes, they.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I'm
so
looking at
I'll
it,
mark
so-
off arcane implements so that I have like an extra thing that I can
Yep.
mess around with. So I'll mark that.
Perfect. And what are we going to use to try to divert this energy now that you see forming? And you know, Reagan, that whatever this is surrounding all of you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna try and attune.
An attune, okay. So I'm going to make this desperate, considering the situation, but with standard effect.
Desperate. Standard.
Are we going to do anything to adjust the roll?
Yeah, because this could break real bad.
I'm thinking like I could assist, but I don't see it, right? I don't realize that this is happening.
At this point, yeah, the people not wearing a mask do not see this. Now that might change, but right now the only person that can see this is Reagan through the mask. So the other three of you have no awareness. Elias is focused on every movement of these 2 hyenas. Galen is really, really hoping that this silver-tipped pyramid that he has now between him and the hyena stays between him and the hyena.
Yeah, I think Cornelius would notice that that Reagan is like pulling out a spirit bottle and starting to do some arcane, and might even like kind of mutter, "Something is happening. I'm trying to stop it."
So what are we doing? Is it the runes around us?
It is.
Is it I'm like reaching into the code like, should we do something about it fast?
I am attempting to. If you have any assistance, as I'm like doing some arcane, like somatic components. Like, if you have anything that will help draw power, please let me know.
Ah, okay, anything to draw power. So, ooh. Would it?
Don't overthink it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give her a shoulder rub while she's doing it.
Yeah, just tell me I'm good at this.
I'm thinking like I would. Yeah. Is there anything I can help you with? Do you need like for me to hold the vial and you will redirect it in and focus your energies
Yes.
better?
Let me use both hands.
All right,
There
so
we
we're
go.
going to do an assist.
Yes.
All right, that'll give a +1 die, and then you take one of the stress.
Yeah.
And
Change it
incidentally, for those of you that can see here on the icons, currently Reagan has 3 of 9 stress. Elias has 5 of 9. Talos Cornelius now has 1 of 9, and Galen is at 3 of 9.
I also feel no. I'm not going to push myself yet. We'll hold on to it. Okay, I'm happy to roll.
All right. So this is going to be a desperate action. So remember this, or go ahead and mark it for XP. And then we are going to have standard effect.
We got friends. Let's not all die immediately. Okay.
Okay, we've
Okay.
got a 5. So that's going to be a success with consequences. So let's talk about the success. So I'm imagining you've got the mask. You've got Talos right there with you. And I'm imagining the hands going out. And you're starting to draw whatever this liquid green veil energy is that was starting to flow through the runes in the circle is now coming towards you. What does Reagan do as it starts to lift off the wood?
It's almost like her hands are moving like you would with a marionette. Like she is forming it into where it was like running in rivulets. She's forming and like almost spider webbing all of those together to pull into one kind of constant stream, and then is just kind of very delicately working it over to the spirit bottle.
All right, so it starts to flow in, and it's like watching a video in reverse. So if you imagined your spirit bottle was overflowing with this green energy onto the floor, it's almost like watching a movie in reverse. You're seeing just the opposites. It almost like flows into the bottle as directed by your hands, as being manipulated by your hands. We're seeing a bit of a glow now coming off the mask itself. And Cornelius, you are now starting to see this energy. So whatever Reagan is doing is now making this energy visible to you. Elias, you are focused on this hyena. You're seeing green energy appear and flow away from this perimeter, this burned in ruins. And Galen, you're seeing the exact same thing. So you are collecting, Reagan, whatever this is. Let's talk about the consequence.
Cornelius is definitely like holding it more and more at arm's length.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
ready with the cork, like just waiting for it to be fully in the bottle or in the vial.
As this is happening, the hyenas are frozen now. They've stopped stalking and they're standing still, each one centered on its particular location. Somewhere beyond this perimeter, beyond your visual sight, you can hear what can probably be best described as laughter.
The silly, silly boys of the Umber means. Yes, yes, yes. Collect it all. Do it.
You can't tell where this is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Like 1 second, Elias is like, whatever that is, it's there. And then as the voice kept laughing and talking, suddenly it was behind him. And Galen, all of you are trying to place it, and you can't place it except it's around you.
Yeah, the entire time that happened, as soon as the green began to show up on the floor, Galen like bit his tongue to not take a step back from the ring where that's coming from, and the only thing that made him not take a step back is the fact that this laughter started, because it startled him enough to forget about the green for a second. And he's at the point of just like staring the hyena thing, not in the eyes, because he knows better than that with any kind of large animal, even if these aren't what they appear to be. But he's staring like between its eyes, but he's like mumbling under his breath of, this is the last friggin' time I do any of these demon ghost jobs.
So the energy is now, whatever energy was around it is now in the bottle. Cornelius, I assume you cork it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Immediately.
You cork that.
Like the first second, like the last inch of it is in, just cork it.
I want to know where Reagan's looking now. Reagan, once you have pulled this energy up, you have got, basically imagine a Y. At the top of the Y, you've got Elias in the center, drawing the two at the top of the Y's attention. Behind you is Galen. I want to know, are you looking left, right, or behind you right now? Because you're about to see something.
Oh, cool. So Reagan has just finished like pulling all of this. There's like I hear like the click of the bottle stop, and I'm more just looking like from where I am, so not at like any of Elias or Galen. I'm just kind of like scanning like walls or like a gantry above. Yeah, that'll be the general direction.
To your left, behind the hyena to your left, which is also your left, Elias, and Cornelius, you see this as well. You see a figure.
Hell
A
yes.
petite woman.
Man.
Yes.
She's got
Yes.
this beautiful brimmed hat, this blonde hair, gorgeous petite pointed chin with a round face, One beautiful green eye, one something else. You don't know if it's empty, if it's there. She's got a very expensive red dress on, and she's standing behind the hyena. Now, here's what's crazy. There's what Reagan sees and what the rest of you can see. So let's talk about what the rest of you can see. What the rest of you can see is you see a woman standing there. She's short. She's only like 5 foot tall. And you can't figure out, is there dust in the air, or maybe you need glasses and you didn't realize it. It's hard to focus on her. Her edges seem frayed, like the silhouette of her seems frayed, but it's not a vision. Whatever she is there. What Reagan sees through the mask is awash in the same green energy that you just bottled up.
Had I known that the Umbral means were going to come to us, so we didn't have to come to you, I would have known how special tonight's going to be.
Cornelius is immediately, shit, is this the one from the dreams? And he falls on his butt, barely holding the vial, wanting to give to Reagan. Just falls down and he's trying to, he's frozen, and he's twitching, remembering, this is, I didn't dream of this, or did I? I can't remember it. And this is basically quite scared.
Reagan, you know exactly who this is. This is River Scare, who is one of the Dimmer sisters.
Yeah.
The Dimmer sisters are... Everybody calls them the Dimmer sisters. Some of them can name one, some can name two. A lot of times they're not the same names. It's not clear if there's 3 Dimmer sisters or if there's 15 Dimmer sisters. But this is River Scare, somebody that you know of that you've never met in person.
So did you come to rob us?
We actually came to give you something.
Oh, a gift? You owe us much.
Well, let's start making reparations then.
I'm listening.
We are going to leave something here. And kind of looking around at everyone, very clearly not into the spooky stuff. And I would ask, what would you ask of me?
Oh, what I want from you, all 4 of you, because you have been in our pot of Duskville for a while. No tribute, no acknowledgement that the Nightmarket belongs to me and my sisters. The only thing I want from you is everything.
Well, unfortunately, we're running on short supply of that.
Doesn't exactly sound like a trade of equal value then, does it? Says Galen, who, facing the other dog, cannot see her.
You've looked over your shoulder at this point. She has
Okay.
definitely garnered attention. And what's crazy is, as much as her voice was everywhere, it's not everywhere anymore. It is there. It is completely focused. And it was almost like an instant just up. She was there. Elias, you've been watching closely. She didn't walk there. She didn't just, she just was there. And then the voice just condensed into coming from her herself. She puts her hand up, and immediately the hyenas sit like trained dogs.
Now's the time to make your offer.
What do we know about... So we know the Dimmer sisters own Nightmarket, essentially. What do we know, if anything, about their relationship with the Night Foxes.
So the Foghounds. Yeah.
Foghounds, sorry.
You're talking about the smugglers? Yeah. There
Yes.
is the four of you know of no relationship between the Foghounds and the Dimmer Sisters, other than they're just another faction, right? They're just another group. The Dimmer Sisters have been, are fighting to gain power over Duskville, just like the Umbral Means, just like the Foghounds are. So you know of no direct relationship between them. Now, very quickly, the Dimmer Sisters own a very large manor in Nightmarket. It is a really creepy place. There's rumors of just all types of things that are coming from there. You've heard so many stories, none that you have any first-hand knowledge of. The Dimmer Sisters are used to scare children of Duskville. So I would imagine that some of you have been told awful things about what will happen to you if you don't brush your teeth, that the Dimmer Sisters will come in the middle of the night and remove them for you. There's just, they are just creepy. How they make their money, how they gain power, none of that's known. It just seems that they just seem to gain influence throughout Duskville.
I mean, it seems to me they probably, therefore, are dealing with arcane things and telling them that we're removing some arcane smugglers from working in the arcane in their area would be to their benefit. Or at least we can try and make that pitch.
I mean, it's better than the pitch I was going to make, so...
All right, so let's hear the pitch. Go ahead. Elias?
I was going to say, what if we come clean of what we're doing because it only benefits her and her organization, because maybe the Noodle House is cheating on her and her goods and selling them, and maybe go a different route than what we were initially going to do.
You mean
That makes sense?
the fortune teller, the new house we were trying to get us that way?
That's right. Yeah. So I don't know if we know this or not, but some of their enemies, spirit wardens and the reconciled.
Yep.
We could say that one of those factions has been supplying and dealing with the fortune teller.
Sounds like a pretty good flashback to have some information on that.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, so you're going to have to justify this flashback because you had no idea before this happened that Dimmer Sisters were going to show up. So if we're going to do a flashback, it's going to have to be a good one.
Yeah.
So who wants to do the flashback, and who's going to justify being able? So let's talk about what's the goal of the flashback. Let's start there.
I don't know if we've sold ourselves on doing that specific one, because it doesn't make sense in a flashback. Yeah. Because
she is unexpected.
Yeah.
Now, to a certain degree, it was reasonable to expect the Dimmer Sisters to come into your life. They were only going to let this happen for so long, right? You guys running Ramshack all throughout Nightmarket, making contact with the noodle shop, making contact with this Gildy Loveridge. So it's not like any of the four of you are like, oh my God, no idea. It's like, oh crap. We probably should have thought of this. It's not completely shocking. And really, I think you all kind of knew she was a Dimmer Sister before you knew she was a Dimmer Sister.
I mean, for justification, like, it seems like a hella spidery thing to do to, like, if we're striking at one specific person, is to know, like, any dirty secrets.
Oh yeah, no. Why
I'm up
do
for that.
one job when your job can do two jobs?
Yeah.
Totally how Galen would do that.
So Galen, we're gonna flash back to where?
To the time when, while Elias was staking out the warehouse to make sure that the trade route and timing was solid, while he was doing that, Galen was investigating other informative angles to see, based on who we know is unhappy with us, what potential connections this gang or our mark, Goldie, could pull other strings in the web for us. So we had something in our back pocket just in case.
So Elias had already figured out and it communicated to you that the fog hounds were involved, right? So that wouldn't be new information. So what we're looking for, if I'm understanding, is what other types of connections, whether they be enemies or friends, that this Gildy Lovelace might have?
Right.
Leverage.
We want
Gildy
to
leverage.
Yeah. Yes. We want to know if she has a backer, if she has common sellers, usuals that are looking for the arcane things. Are there any people she's stepping on their toes of, etc.? Because if she's making these sales in Nightmarket, obviously the Dimmer sisters got to know about it. And is she doing the same thing where she's trying to hide it from them, or is she just running ranshot over their claim like we are?
So I am going to require a roll, and I'll let you decide what that roll is going to be. But this is only going to be one stress, because this is very well in your wheelhouse to be able to do this type of thing. So this is not going to be a 2-stress flashback, only a 1-stress flashback. The only thing to change that is depending on what you're going to use as your action, what attribute.
It's between study or survey, and I could see either one.
It could be either. It's just going to determine how you do this. So what do we do?
Ultimately, this is doing research beforehand. So I'm really seeing this as more of a study.
Okay, so we're going to use study, and how is the study happening? So what are you doing? How are you studying to get this information?
Galen is performing his favorite manner of information gathering, of hanging out where people are congregating, where the deals aren't going down, but where the pre-deal discussion is happening. And he's just listening to what's going on around him, and maybe, buying a drink for someone here or there to confirm what the guy next to him said.
Beautiful.
So very cat's paw.
All right, so that's going to be a controlled. That's going to be controlled because you're in a very safe place as you do this, with standard effects. So controlled standard.
Okay. And we're not going to push it or anything, so let's
just do the 1 stress real quick for the flashback.
And just the 1 die.
It was a success. So I'm imagining, Galen, you probably hanging out maybe at some of the little gambling houses or some of the taverns that are in or around Gildy's fortune-telling shop, and casually bringing up, her, or has anybody gone there, and, what do we know about her? It's all just rumors, right? It's all just rumors, but one rumor that you did keep hearing is that nobody from the manor has ever seemed to have issue with her. So there has been some friction between the Noodle House and the Dimmer sisters, but nobody has ever noticed any type of friction between the Manor House and Gildy. So reasonable for you to assume that there's a connection, right?
Right.
Definitely not rivals, maybe likely allies. Okay, so there's your success. Here's your consequence, which you can resist, is you talk to too many people, Galen. And the consequence is that you asking around is going to get back to the Dimmer sisters.
Okay. I kind of like that, actually. I'm gonna let that go because that makes sense on why she's here.
Yep. So we flash back. Galen is well aware that Gildy has been working with the Dimmer sisters. Galen has already shared that with you guys before you even got here to the warehouse. So now all 4 of you know that the Dimmer sisters has been working with Gildy, which makes the appearance of River Scare even less of a surprise, right? So she's got her hand up.
Asking all your questions, trying to ruin a very nice situation that we have.
She snaps her finger, and Galen, the hyena in front of you changes. The hyena in front of you gets smaller. It condenses and it starts changing shape in the same way that you're having a hard time getting the sense of form of River Scare. You suddenly start having a hard time focusing and figuring out what the form and shape of this hyena is. And it just keeps getting smaller until it goes completely out of focus and comes back into focus, and it's a small boy, about 3 years old. He's in a very, very nice little school uniform. He's missing a shoe. And he starts walking towards you. Give me the toy! I want the toy! And he's gesturing to your artifact. To your boon.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. Galen is going to back up until he feels one of the boxes. I'm imagining they're about waist height crates. Okay, he's going to feel that behind him and is going to hold the charm in front of him still, but instead of like this, he's now holding it around like the square bottom, much stronger, so that the point is facing out and he can club somebody with this if he needs to. It wouldn't be the first time. But he says to the boy, this ain't your toy. Looks like you need a shoe though, and he's gonna with a foot off to the side without looking, he's gonna scrape over to the shoe that we saw on the ground earlier and kind of kick that towards the kid. You can play with that if you like, or it'll, even better, keep your feet warm. Crazy kids.
Okay. Are we looking for a roll here, or are we gonna play this out?
I'm fine playing it out. If you want to
All right.
roll, I would say it's a sway.
Oh, I mean, a roll could right now we play this out. There's no desired effect.
Okay,
Right,
I will sway him then. I will sway him that this shoe is a better toy than the thing I will club him in the head with.
Okay. So now I want to set the scene here, right? So I see Galen moving back, getting a firmer grip on this this pyramid object that you're holding, and you feel the crates reach back. You look down, you see the shoe. The little boy, completely unfazed, completely focused on what you're holding. Give me the toy! As he's walking closer, you grab the shoe and you give your speech. This is going to be a risky with limited effect.
Okay.
Brilliant.
I mean, it's not it's not desperate great effects, so we'll see how this goes.
Well, and as
not
a
my
reminder,
wheelhouse.
as a reminder, Galen, you can push, right? You can push, and the push can not only add a die to this, but you could also push, instead of taking the die, you could increase it from standard to a great effect. Or you could do it going from standard to controlled.
No, I'm good. Let's do it.
Yep.
So the graphic, the die doesn't land.
Yeah.
It's between a 3 and a
Yeah.
5. I had to look in the chat. It's a 3.
Yeah, no, I was sitting there just being like, fall.
I was blowing
I
on my
was
monitor
pushing-
trying to get it to
Yeah.
go.
It's pushing into
Alright, so
the mouse.
That's a failure. So a 3 is a failure. So you throw the shoe as you make your speech, Galen, and the child watches the shoe go by, and he looks up at you, goes, "I want the toy!" And just you can feel just the words come out of this child's mouth, and they go through you like you're splashed with just scalding water. And I want you, the consequence is going to be, I want you to take a level 1 harm of shaken. So in your sheet, fill in one of your level 1's harm is shaken.
Done.
And literally, like you felt it, like it almost felt like the meat for one split second separated from each of your bones before it reconnected again. He's still walking towards you. Elias, both of your hyenas are still hyenas. We still have
thank God.
River. Yeah, we still have River Scare. She's put her hand back up again.
Question: When I kicked through the shoe, did it go past him? Did it go through him? Did it bounce off of him?
On a failure, it went past him, not through him. But
Okay.
You didn't throw it at him, right? So
Fair.
no information gathered.
Got it.
River Scare turns to you, Galen.
Give him the trinket now.
Sounds like that's something that needs to be paid for. What's in it for me, woman?
This is a discussion. Give it to him.
I want to know what the hell Elias is doing. Because all of this is happening in front of O.
Yeah.
So she
yeah.
hasn't interacted with you yet, but what are you doing?
I'm disappearing like Homer into those hedges. No, the whole time I'm just praying to whatever God is in this world that these two Rougarou things, hyenas, don't turn into children, especially with guns at the ready. But this whole time I'm looking for a way out. I'm looking for an opportunity to get the heck out of here, and mentally thinking, do we need to continue trying to sabotage this fortune teller or not? Because we're stepping up into territory where we're in bad shape right now. At least from first glance looking around.
So as a hound, there's a couple things that you know, just because of who you are. You know that you're not going to be able to get past any of these escape routes without interacting either with her and her hyena, the other hyena, or the child, right? So they have successfully blocked these off. Now, the crushed debris and crates that surround you, they're only about 10 foot high. So in theory, you definitely could climb them. Any of you could, scamper over and climb them. So that gives you a sense of, the kind of thing that you as a hound would do, right? Would immediately survey, what are my escape routes? What are my options? And that's what you're able to assess. Cornelius, what are we doing?
So okay, I'm thinking of flashback. So I have this. I have this ghost ward, which is I can wreck an area and it's enticing to spirit or an anathema. And why I'm thinking of flashback, I prepared prior to entering the warehouse. So it's not that far in the past, and I was preparing to trigger this in a correct moment. Because I have this small crystal, maybe it's like a ruby, I'm using as part of this ghost ward, and so the flashback would be me going around the warehouse or around part of the warehouse, preparing to make the ward of the whole warehouse. So I would like to basically tinker or wreck the area. They mentioned how to wreck an area with arcane substances. So I would like to wreck the area, that I prepared it for this ward, and now I would be ready just to touch the ground with the crystal and engage it in a way that it makes the spirits want to go away. They really hate it to be in this area.
So this is you. So the flashback is you actually now we're in a situation where we're saying Cornelius has been in here before.
We're saying before we enter, I'm telling the guys, okay, I will need 10 minutes before we just enter inside, and I would be going around and trying to use maybe some of that black salt a little bit, making a perimeter out of it. So I had just the rest that I was using inside. And I would be creating this ward like that. So it would be prior to entering.
Gotcha. So now we're talking. So what Cornelius would do before you guys hopped roofs, got onto the second story entrance to get in, Cornelius went and did a perimeter. Are we doing this to the perimeter of the warehouse, or are we going inside?
I was thinking, it depends. Can we affect the whole warehouse, or like maybe just the room that we were entering, somehow like perimeter or directed in that in the room where we are now.
So the reason I'm asking you this is part of this conversation is I need to get a sense of the kind of the how grand of an effect we're looking at, right? So if we're talking about you sneaking inside of this warehouse and sprinkling and imbuing this dust all over the floors on the interiors, that's going to have obviously a much greater effect than you just going around the perimeter. But it's also going to change the position of the action itself, right? Because it's a lot more risky for you to have broken in before you broke in.
Yeah.
So my answer is you can do whatever the hell you want, but I need to know what it is. So
I
we
would
can
not
figure out...
enter later. That doesn't make sense. The whole warehouse or the area. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna do surrounding the area. You're gonna imbue or spread this arcane dust around it. And in your mind, when you touch the crystal down to activate whatever it is, what is your expected effect? What do you expect to be happening once you touch the crystal and you activate whatever this wreck is?
So it would be like feeling of energy going through all of us, not like electric shock, but like this excitement, energy, like you're maybe like when you're how do you say it? When your hairs are standing on your skin, like so
Okay.
this kind of energy. So everybody, even that people that are not familiar with the, let's say, the ghost ward, would know that something is happening, and suddenly the spirits would like to disappear immediately from that area because this is harmful for them, or maybe not harmful but really painful even.
All right. So to do this, for two stress for the flashback.
All right.
And then do you want to, what is the roll that you want to make?
Like in the ghost ward they say wreck. It might be tinker, but I would stay with the wreck because I'm wrecking
Okay.
the area to prepare it for the ghost ward.
Yep. So we're doing an arcane sabotage of the surrounding
exactly.
area. Does that sound about right? Okay.
Exactly.
So this is you going. We're going back in time. This is going to have a great effect, but it's going to be a risky action. So it's going to be risky. Great.
What bargain do you have for me?
Ooh, Devil's Bargain. Okay, so Devil's Bargain. So instead of pushing yourself, you can choose to do a Devil's Bargain. And what the Devil's Bargain will allow you to do is allow you to add a die, but you have to accept the consequence on a success or failure. Devil's Bargain. So the success will be this desired effect on ghostly objects, right? So it's going to those unghostly of you are going to get a nice little tingle shock, but we expect a much more drastic effect on the ones that are ghostly. The Devil's Bargain is it'll only affect her. So whatever these hyenas are, or whatever this child is, it will not affect them. It'll only affect her. That's the Devil's Bargain. And that's on a success or a failure.
Or I push for 2.
Or you push for 2. And potentially could get a consequence if you don't roll a 6.
Hey, you're healthy. Let's say push
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, push it.
Me, not so
What a
much.
team!
You're good.
What a taking one for the team. Like I will do nothing for the rest of. Okay, I'm pushing myself. I put the 2 extra stress there.
All right.
Maybe
And you're going to do that
I
for an
don't-
extra die, or are we going to try to turn this from risky to controlled, or
extra die. Extra die.
extra die? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it
So
was
we flash back. We see Cornelius walking around, spreading this around the perimeter of this warehouse while you guys are on the roof, waiting to jump across. I'm ready when
So
you
it
are.
was a risky. It was a
Risky
great
with
effect,
great effect.
and I had 1 bonus die. There we go. Oh, I need to.
Okay.
Oh,
Success. We take the 5. That's a success. But with consequence. So, what do, Cornelius? We see in the flashback, we see that you spread this powder around the edges. We now come back to real time. We see Cornelius reach up and grab an object off his neck.
So it's a trinket that glow. Normally it doesn't glow, and now it emits a little bit glow, like it's primed to go. And since I'm sitting on the ground, I'm scared shitless. Basically, I slam it to the floorboards, and I hope to immediately, like from the point when I hit the board, it like on that point it glows more, and as it goes further away from my point, it like diminishes the glow. So maybe there is a little bit of flash, just and
Right, so you ready?
and the tingling sensation. Yeah.
Take it, you slam it to the ground, and as you slam it to the ground, your whole hand just gets surrounded by this green energy, and it bursts off of your hand, and it follows the creases in all of the floorboards inside of this warehouse, almost like a digital matrix, right? So it shoots out from it doesn't get above the boards, it stays in the boards, and it slips right, left, and it just moves as fast in the shortest way possible to the edges of this warehouse. It's slow motion. As your hand hit, as soon as it slams down and this energy starts leaving this ward of yours and spreading out, you can see in slow motion, you can see her reaction. She immediately pulls back and knows exactly what's happening. And you can see it in her face. The energy spreads out, and then there's a snap, because you can tell when it hits the border, when it hits the areas where this salt has been spread, and you hear this like the sucking sound, and the sucking sound happens, and it all is simultaneous. So depending on where you're looking, but it all happens at the same time. With her, she's standing there, and she's, very confident, very, very comfortable standing. And you hear the sucking sound from the sides of the walls, and you see green energy leaving her body. So it just sucks away from her, and it's like an image of her ripped in half. But she didn't rip in half. Just this green energy shape ripped from her and was drawn to the walls. Same thing with the hyena in front of her. Just the same thing. It just seems to rip in half in green and gets pulled away. The child is there, and he's almost to you, Galen, like this. And you see the same thing. A little image of the child pull away and go to the walls. And then the last hyena, Elias, to your right, does the same thing. So the energy pulls away, and almost immediately, the hyenas fall, the child falls backwards. She is pulling away, and she's disoriented. So you see her kind of doing this. So she is still there, functional, working. Her edges are very clear now, though. You can see her silhouette. You can see her solidity. And you see her backing away, and her eye, you don't know what the hell the other thing is. Her eye is closed, and she's disoriented and moving away. So that's your success.
Cornelius is just like, do you feel lucky, bun?
The consequence is the foghounds are going to arrive a day early to pick up these crates. So they weren't scheduled till tomorrow, which is why you chose today. But the consequence is that they're going to come through the door right now. They came a day early for whatever reason. That's the consequence.
So I could, so the resist works, that I explain how I resist it, of course, but then I'm using the dots in the first column, right?
So you're going to explain to me how you resist. So I think, and really it's my job actually to tell you how you can resist this, right? So you tell me you want to resist. So mechanically, here's how it works. You say, Craig, I want to resist this. I'm going to tell you it's either insight, prowess, or resolve that you can use to resist it. If I choose insight and prowess, you're going to get two dice, because you have at least 2 items with a rank. If I choose resolve, it'll be 1 rank. I'm going to choose insight for you to resist this. And this is just a matter of you knowing the pattern, Elias knowing the pattern. So you can use insight to resist this from happening. So what that means is that you'll immediately take 6 stress. You'll roll, in this case, you'll roll 2 dice. Whatever the highest die is, you'll subtract that from 6, and that's ultimately the amount of stress you're going to take.
Can you assist on resist? That sounded weird.
You can protect.
You can protect. So you can take it, and you can resist on insight.
No. Sorry, bro.
Okay.
Sorry, bro.
You got this,
It would
buddy.
be
We
my-
all believe in you. Take
This
several
would be my
steps back.
glass cannon move, right? I will resist it with insight. I will do it. This is like
Okay.
not happening.
You can do it.
So I press. Ah, okay. I have 0 bonus dice. Yeah. Should I roll it?
I'm ready.
Yeah. Where are the dice?
All right. So you end up
Okay.
a total of 2 stress.
Okay.
All right. That puts you at
Worth it on
7
that
of
one.
9. So for one split second, we saw the foot of the foghounds breaking into the front door of the. Then they vanish away. They're not coming till tomorrow.
No, you don't.
So now back to where we are real time. River Scare is moving away. She's backing away. At least for now. Hounds seem to be incapacitated, as does the child.
I would like to approach a river scare. I have
Okay.
have a terrible idea. I am terribly sorry for all of the inconveniences we have placed upon you, and this is just an element of what happens when we are crossed. But I was genuine about wanting to make reparations, just not tonight. I will commit myself to any service you would like. I can offer you research, and I can offer you money if that is a thing that you are actually caring about. I want to make this right.
I need a roll.
Yeah, you kind of do.
I need a roll. She's backing away still, just completely disoriented. She's hearing you, Reagan, and you're moving towards her at this point as she's backing away as you're having the conversation. So
Yeah.
she's listening to you, but she is not of full wits.
Hopefully that makes her more impressionable. So this is why this is a bad thing. It's probably going to be sway. I was thinking it might be consort, since like she's in a bad position. Either a 0 dice. So, Craig,
You'll be in a better position, and you'll have better position and effect with sway.
Okay, yeah, we'll roll up some sway.
Okay.
Can I assist with that?
I would love that.
So how would Galen assist with this negotiation? This it's really not a negotiation. It's convincing, right?
Well, Galen is a fan of the carrot and the stick in cases like this. He's a little heightened, so he's going to lead with the stick as Reagan walks over and starts mentioning all of this. He's going to say, and if you don't like that, I can give you this toy, and I mean really give it to you, right upside the head.
Okay.
But then the second part of that is the carrot of, or we can all be reasonable adults, and you can let us make reparations, just not when we're in the middle of a job. Be professional.
The old bad cop, ghost cop.
All right. So Galen, take the 1 stress for the assist. That definitely is going to work. So that will give the extra die to Reagan, which I believe then puts you at 1 die instead of roll 2 and take the lowest. So we are going to say risky. God, I'm trying to think of what she thinks about this. What does she think about this?
I mentioned research. I mentioned money.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's an
we can
offer.
work to make this happen, and my services as well. Like, that is very specific. Like Reagan's whole thing of this is like, as long as this we can begin like a process and it doesn't affect the 3 of my cohorts right now, I'm like willing to do pretty much anything.
And let's face it, with Galen jumping in and saying and supporting you on this, he's effectively saying it's not just you. Like, we've been working here, but we're on the up and coming. We don't necessarily know who to reach out to say to start a relationship. So maybe we're trying to, on the surface at least, turn this from we've been hunting in your area to maybe we were trying to up our resume enough to where you cared about us. And we can turn this around in the future. Just give us a chance.
Okay. So here's what hurts you. All of that helps you. Everything you just told me helps you. What hurts you is the -2 relationship you have. The hostile relationship you have with her and her sisters really hurts. So I'm going to do risky. It's going to be risky limited.
Right. 1 bonus die currently. So I could push to make that standard, which is very interesting, but I'm only rolling 1 die.
I think it works if it's limited, because you got to start rebuilding a broken relationship somewhere.
Yeah, it's more foot in the door than anything. Like I'm pushing 100% because, like, this is a lot. So I will mark the stress.
And for everybody here, and especially for those watching that aren't familiar with it, so the position and the effect that we're talking about, it impacts everything, right? So when I talk about it having a limited, standard, or great effect, that's on a success. How good is it going to be? The position is where they are. Are they controlled? Everything. There's nothing to be stressed about. They are in their element. Is it risky, or is it desperate? Right. And the biggest thing happens on the consequence side, right? So where the position is, as it being a risky position, the consequences are more drastic than if it was controlled. And the same thing with the desired effect here. If it was great effect, her on a success, she'd be like, deal, right? If it was standard effect, she might negotiate with you a little bit. So she may not take your first offer. And unlimited, the best thing you can hope for is that she's going to consider it.
Yeah.
And it's that -2, it's that hostile relationship is killing you.
I feel like if this goes well, like if a success happens, like at a limited, like that will at least like open a door to, like, rather than like having this deal be immediately made, it at least is like we have something we can do to be like, okay, Cornelius, stop the thing so we can have a discussion. And like, so yeah, I'm gonna push for the bonus die and keep the limited, because I'm not the person who should be doing charisma rolls. But...
So you're going to be adding 2 dice then, is that correct? 1 because you're pushing yourself, and 1 from the assist. And you've taken the stress for the assist, Galen?
Yes, I have.
Because I only show you at 5 of 9.
Yeah, no, I went from, I started at
3, 4, 5. Yep, you're right. Yep, you're good. You're good.
Okay, let's do the thing.
She's backing away. She's listening to what you say. And you got a 6. So she stops and she puts her hand up, and she's like hiding her face.
I will call on you, and you will answer. Do you understand?
Of course, you are extremely gracious.
This is fantastic! I'll tell my sisters. We expect tribute by tomorrow. My children!
Her hands go up, and you see both hyenas now are all children. The other 2 hyenas are little girls, about somewhere between 2 and 4 years old. They all stand up and they come to her.
You will talk to the noodle house. We'll work with them instead.
Nice.
Agreed?
Agreed.
That I won't need for you to meet my friend.
So you see her gesture, and Reagan, this was something that you didn't see, but now that she points you out, you're like, how did I not see this?
Yeah.
Right? You look over and you see this huge metal thing. It's about 8 foot tall.
Hey, Big Daddy.
And it gestures over and it's standing there. And it's completely metal. You still have your mask on. It is full of energies. And you know it's a hull, which is a spirit that has been drawn into a metal golem, essentially. So it's like a ghost golem. And it's standing there, and how you didn't see it before and now see it now, you don't even care anymore. But as she gestures that you don't need to meet her friend, this thing goes Kum, kum, and turns its back to you. The children run up to its feet. River turns her back to you and starts walking away. Her last words:
The trinkets are useless without the ritual.
and she just fades into the darkness.
I couldn't make that one out. It was a little extra distorted for whatever reason. Could you say that again?
She
Just wanted
says,
to ask.
the trinkets are useless without the ritual.
Neat.
And she fades into the darkness.
Well, that's one hell of a I owe you one.
All right. Nice 6.
Yeah.
Nice 6. Now, all at this time, the only thing I'm thinking is Elias has been there, and he's been standing there going, at any moment, something goes south, I'm just going to start shooting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, I started blasting.
All right. So to finish things out, talk to me about the trinkets, the warehouse. What are we doing anything before we head back to the lair?
Oh yeah, we still need to make it so the fog hands don't work with a lady.
Yep. I mean,
And I
essentially,
did-
we were talking about putting something in there that would like supercharge, explode, arcane wise when used improperly or moved, something
Yeah.
like that.
So I did have my terrible idea, but now I feel like that's slightly changed to be a bit more interesting with what we've actually got working on. But I would still like to do the requisite flashback,
Okay.
just to introduce something to the crew.
All right.
Go for it. I like it.
So essentially, the idea of this flashback is to introduce the idea of kind of working through schematics with Cornelius of a box that looks like arcane and weird that has like a time release on a spirit bottle.
Okay.
And so Reagan basically like comes to the group in this flashback and says, I have an idea of what we could plant there that would definitely scare off anyone who is not expecting something supernatural to come out of these crates.
I'm listening.
She pulls out from a bag and places the spirit bottle that we have seen her deal with before, and is just kind of like rolling it idly on the table and says, "So I have a friend who is very willing to possess someone
Jesus.
moving the crates, and is a very good actor and can pretend that you have awakened some ancient and terrible king who is so grateful that the foghounds have freed them. They are a very good actor."
So it takes it takes Galen until you mention the fog hounds to realize that you're not talking about us moving the crates, because he goes from like angry and pale white to, oh, I throw it on him. That's fine.
I just need something, and if you would like, we can go over the plan properly with them.
All right, so definitely a 2 stressor. So let's take the 2 stress. And I see this as either Cornelius doing it with an assist from Reagan, or Reagan doing this with an assist from Cornelius. So let me know what that relationship is and who's rolling for what.
I think it's probably Tinker, so Cornelius is probably the best.
Yeah, as you were describing your plan, Cornelius was, oh, I will need to get that one, and then we need the spirit battle, and I will need to do the ledge, and with the timer on. Oh, this definitely could work. Like they will be so pissed. So yeah, let's do it like that. So it will be. So it's a flashback from Reagan. Cornelius is actually doing the role as part of the flashback.
Yeah. So Reagan's going to take ultimately 3 stress.
Yeah.
And the third one is for the assist, then.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or she can just take the 2 and not assist.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking could happen. But I have 2 dice normally, and we didn't speak about the position and the effect.
So the position's controlled, and the effect is great.
Yeah. So you've got 2 dice.
Yes. But I'm not rolling hot like you do.
Can anybody else assist on this? Can it be more than one person?
You guys make the case.
If you describe
I am
it well.
a son of a machinist. I can help building the trinket and the architecture of the device, the engineering of the device to.
Oh, I will design the
accomplish your
plans,
goal.
but I need someone to machine the piece or like to fit it. Yeah. Okay.
To make the
That's
timer
what
work.
Yeah.
Absolutely
So
love
make
it.
it. Yeah.
So Elias takes the stress, and you do the assist. So that's going to give you a 1 bonus die, Cornelius. So it's Reagan's idea. Reagan is going to provide the spirit that we're going to have in this time bomb. Cornelius designs it, and Elias is there to make sure that it's going to work like clockwork. So we're going to do a tinker roll from Cornelius with 1 bonus die.
Let's do this.
What could go wrong?
Everything.
Everything. Yeah.
You know, if you add all of those up.
All right. So it's done. You've built it. Reagan looks at it. It's like, yeah, that's what I asked for. That's what I was thinking. Cornelius looks at it, and Cornelius, you're kind of proud of yourself. Like, this was your design. Elias, you've machined it using all of your skills. Everything is perfect. Reagan, how are we going to get our friend inside?
Yeah, so it kind of works as like this mechanism that will open it on a timer. So I guess like within the confines, like just kind of almost like easing it in the flashback anyway. Like I say, I kind of want to, with new information, I want to switch it out, but that might not even be a possibility with the thing. So,
well, it was my understanding that your friend was going inside. Is that what I understood?
Yeah, so that's what it was from the flashback, and then from earlier in the session, I pulled like a bunch of like weird magic into a spirit bottle that has the same dimensions. So like the plan that like we have the flashback, and then like what Reagan said kind of prior is like swapping it out for creepy ritual magic.
All right, so that happens. So you guys are able to plant that in the crate. You guys close the crate up, and it's there.
Did we? So we did.
You're not going to see the. It's just so you know, you're not going to see the failure. As far as you guys are concerned, this thing is perfect.
Oh, I was thinking like if we are controlled, I could like push it to risky.
Well, here's my question as far as seeing the failure or not. Yeah. My question is as far as seeing the failure or not, because what Joe was saying is he was essentially using his ghost friend as a test run once we had this built. Isn't that what you're saying, or did I misunderstand?
Oh, no, because the initial plan that I had, like going into the session was to use Nirix, and then things changed when I pulled a bunch of magic into something where I don't have to risk the potential chaotic energy of someone with no moral compunctions and a love for possessing people.
Okay, that makes more sense. Never mind then. I have no question.
But just so you guys know, you have built this bomb. You are confident that this bomb is going to work, and you've put this bomb inside of the crate, and you've closed the crate up.
So what's the role of the controlled position then? That
it's controlled because we're
would've...
not doing it in the heat of a score.
But I mean, like,
it's the degree of consequences, right? So if you had rolled a success with consequences, it would have made the consequences not as dire because it's controlled. And even on a failure, the failure is not going to be as disastrous as if this was a desperate or a risky roll. Does that make sense? You guys,
I was thinking like from controlled, you could have a second try to press them. But okay, let's continue.
Oh,
I would,
yeah. But I feel like
yeah.
that's not the thing that Craig is picking as the consequence, because there's an option on controlled that Craig can choose. Like, you have to do it from a different angle, but
yeah.
No, you're not going to be there when the failure happens.
I just kind of hold the like in media res, like when we plant the thing, I just kind of hold the spirit bottle with Nirix in and just like, perhaps next time, friend.
All right, so can we cut to the lair?
Yeah, I think so.
The only other thing that Reagan would want to do is something that's more like that is not at all attached to the score and is like getting something for her vice next time, but that we don't necessarily have to.
We can make that part of downtime.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's wrap this up. So let's start off with Payoff. So someone want to bring up the crew sheet?
I have it.
In charge of the crew sheet. We'll start there. So this is successful. And not exactly kind of the way you thought it was going to be successful. You thought it was going to be successful because you're going to get the fog hounds not to work with her. But that wonderful 6 from Joe means that the Dimmer sisters are not going to work with Gildy anymore. So you guys can go ahead and check your covert drops. The Noodle House is pleased. So the Noodle House now will give you will now, from now on, anytime you choose espionage or sabotage as your method for the job, you guys will get +2 coin as a result. So let's talk about Payoff. I think. Well, how are you guys going to get coin for this? It's successful. Where do you think the coin's going to come from?
I think
the
Noodle
of
House
trinkets fell off.
I like that too. Yeah.
What was that, Elias?
A box of trinkets fell off the truck.
I'm good with that. Just so sell the trinkets.
Yeah, maybe we
and I called them trinkets because they were not imbued, but there are actually some really nice jewelry and some nice pieces in there. So I'm going to give you a standard score of 6 coin. Now you've got room for four. You can do 4 coin, 1 to each, and then put 2 in the crew sheet. So let's do that. So each of you add a coin.
Good.
And then we'll put 2 coin in the crew sheet.
Got it.
All right, so heat. Here's where the failure happens. So we cut to the Foghounds the next day walking in, and they expected to be met by River Scare, and she's not there. But they go over to the crates. The crates are there where they're supposed to be, inside the ritual circle. They're a bunch of mooks, right? So they grab the crates, load it up, put it in the back of the wagon. They put the first crate, second crate, third crate. They load the 4th crate in. As they start to step away from it, the whole thing explodes inside the back of the warehouse, and just takes out an entire wall of the warehouse, kills 2 of the fog hounds. Does not do where you wanted it to do, and did not happen when you wanted it to happen. So heat wise, this is going to be counted as loud and chaotic with high exposure. It's 4 heat. So let's add 4 heat.
And to have some crossover,
there.
Chol would like this.
Totally worth
Easy
it.
rodeo.
All right. So now we need to do entanglements. So entanglements, your heat now is at 4. So who wants to roll the d6 to figure out the entanglements that happen from this?
Joe.
Yeah, Joe can roll it, and he can roll 2.
Yeah, so I'm rolling our wanted level, which is currently 0. So it is 2 dice, because the higher the thing is, it's actually worse. So like having no wanted level is why you.
Oh, because we're slippery. Because
and
forgotten.
we've also got, and we can also pick one rather than
Take the
just
lowest.
having to take the lowest.
Yep.
Because there's an option on there that's like a ghost shows up, and I'm like, that's very easy for us to deal with. So,
All right. So what's the entanglement going to be?
so can I actually roll a wanted? I can. Excellent. Hey, we didn't get the same one this time.
Okay. Do you want gang trouble or questioning, or do you want reprisals or unquiet dead? And remember, I get to choose.
I mean, yeah.
So reprisals is an enemy faction may make a move against you or a friend, contact vice or purveyor. Pay them 1 rep and 1 coin per tier of the enemy as an apology. Allow them to mess with you or yours and fight back and show them who's boss. That's reprisals. Unquiet dead is a rogue spirit is drawn to you. Perhaps it's a past victim. Acquire the services of a whisper or a railjack to attempt to destroy or banish it, or deal with it yourself. And then gang trouble and questioning you guys have already dealt with pretty much. Well, questioning
need
you
more
have.
of
No,
that.
you haven't actually. Questioning is, hold on. The Bluecoats grab an NPC member of your crew or one of the crew's contacts to question them about your crimes, similar to what happened last time. And then gang trouble is one of your gangs or other cohorts causes trouble due to their flaws, and you lose face. So you forfeit rep equal to your tier plus 1.
So 1.
So you
I
guys
like
get
the
to choose
first option.
the
I mean,
reprisals.
by like.
Yeah, I feel like,
Reprisals and
sense.
Unquiet Dead sounds cool.
Is that
Yeah.
what we're doing?
yeah, reprisals are unquiet dead, and
All
then
right, so we'll count this
Craig,
as a
you-
5 then.
Got it.
So let me just mark that down because we'll talk about that.
And is there all just different stuff? It's not like 5 is stronger than the other one.
they're
gets
more
worse.
they're more severe. So like if for example we didn't have a whisper, like unquiet dead could be something you would need to like acquire a whisperer to deal with that particular thing. So like it depends on like the makeup of the crew, which is always interesting that player choices matter.
So the fog hounds are going to move against you.
Mhm.
Let me quickly look up their tier. Oh, where are they? Where are the fog hounds? There's the districts. God, this is such a pretty book.
Mm-hmm.
Book is
Such a
fantastic.
pretty book. Oh, here we go. All right, so the fog hounds are tier. They're tier 1. Okay, so reprisals. An enemy faction makes a move against you, or a friend or a contact or vice versa. Pay them 1 rep and 1 coin per tier of the enemy as an apology. So for allow them to mess with you and yours, or fight back and show them who's boss. So you can, for the cost of 1 coin and 1 rep, you can let them just get away with their reprisal, or do you guys want to fight back?
I'm honestly okay with paying them off because that was
Yeah.
our goof.
Yeah.
That's us going. Our bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
We
Elias,
don't
what do you
fight
think?
like publicly, not yet, right?
Yeah.
What's Elias think?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, so go ahead and drop 1 rep and 1 coin off your crew sheet.
Yep.
So I'm imagining the bear, who's one of the lieutenants. Let me show you the bear.
Oh,
He reaches out through contacts and gets in touch with Galen. And basically says, we have a problem. Galen, you show up. You make it worth his while. You pass a coin over. No harm, no foul. He accepts it and kind of scoffs at you. Like, kind of a... It gives you a look, and you already know this. Like, who's going to take you seriously, Umbral means? You're not even going to stick up for yourself.
No one takes you seriously until they need to.
So what they end up doing is they end up setting the kitchen of the noodle house on fire as a reprisal. It doesn't take the noodle house down or destroy it, but it takes the noodle house out of business for about a week. So that's where your rep is really hurt on that. All right, so that takes care of the entanglement. All right, so we are about an hour and a half in, and stupidly, Joe and Vaslev, with their time zone, have agreed to play on Thursday nights. I'm willing to transition and doing some downtime if you'd like, or we can move that to session 4.
I can do.
Yep. I'm game for downtime.
yeah,
I know Vaslev is an hour in front of me, so
I'm still fine. I'm working from home tomorrow.
All right, Roman,
Nice.
Nick, you guys up for downtime?
I am.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys do your thing give me at some point 10 minutes so I can go, and I'll be right back.
Why don't you go grab it right now? We'll do your downtime last.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
And,
All right,
and
bud.
should we do XP before we move to downtime?
Oh, I guess so. Stick around for your XP. Nick, we'll do your XP first. Bring up your sheet.
Okay.
And your crew XP? Ah.
All right.
All right, so Elias, let's talk about your triggers. You took no desperate actions, so you didn't get any XP from that. Walk me through your triggers.
All right. Did I address a challenge with tracking or violence? I would say definitely with tracking, as I was tracking both those hounds and forcing them to keep their eyes on me. I would say that's about the extent of that line item for XP.
Yeah, I think you definitely get it. Not only for that, but it was tracking that made you find the warehouse and figure out that the fog hounds were dropping the crate here. I mean, that was all you, Elias. So yes, definitely an XP for that.
All right. Express beliefs, drives, heritage, background. Not so much this round or this session. And then struggled with issues from your vice or traumas during this session. Unfortunately, not. Or fortunately, not. I don't know.
All right. So you're free to go, Nick.
Thanks. I'll be right
We'll
back.
be here when you get back. Yeah, man. Who wants to do XP next?
I'll go.
in
Mine
order
should
on
be
my
pretty
sheet.
quick and easy.
All right, let's do you, Roman.
Okay. Took no desperate actions this time around.
Yep.
Used them all up last time. You addressed a challenge with calculation or conspiracy. I would argue that assisting Reagan with that negotiation, which basically said what we came in here for, we didn't end up having to do. We suddenly, on the dime, entirely changed how we resolved the job, probably for the better long term. Definitely calculation.
Yep, and I'll couple that with your flashback too, that allowed you to
Okay.
find the connection with the Dimmer sisters. I'll give you, you can take that XP.
Cool. And then express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. That's really what I did most of the time. One of his beliefs is the ghost veil, creepy stuff, not to be trifled with, even under extreme circumstances. Death might be preferable. Like he was very much like, nope, don't want to deal with the creepy kid. If he comes too close, I'll bash him in the head. But other than that, I'm just going to back up till I can't.
Okay. All right. You can have that XP.
Cool. Struggle with issues from vice or traumas. I have none yet.
Okay, that makes it easy,
I have
right?
vice. Yeah. So
So
that
I didn't see you mark that last one, so I think you still owe yourself an X. There it is. Okay, perfect. So
Yep.
you are all set. All right, let's go to Cornelius.
So every time you roll desperate nothing, you addressed a challenge with a technical skill or mayhem for sure.
Yes.
You can
Yep.
you can
Mark
trigger
that.
it more times.
Yes, you can get 2 if it happened more than once.
I think
So
like
that might be
at
worth
least, like,
going another round for the other guys.
Yeah, I think like that's all I did. Like besides the main ghost ward, the preparation that ended up at explosion sounds like mayhem, or even checking the items. I'm thinking like I triggered it twice, but I'll leave that up to you.
So give all right. So you definitely triggered it once. Tell me the once.
Sorry, tell you what?
So let's do. If we're going to argue for 2, tell me the first one, and then we'll talk about the second one. So what's the first one that earns you the XP?
So the first one was the ward that I patched the crystal to the ground and got rid of the
No question.
ghost.
That's XP. No question. So
And
mark
the
that.
second one would be the preparation of the possessing ghost trap that ended up in explosion.
Yep. So that's 2 XP. So go ahead and mark 2 on your playbook.
Yeah. Oh, it's a playbook. Sorry.
Yep.
Or wherever. Playbook means I put it wherever.
I think
Or
the only way you can do the 3. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. Can you choose for it to go anywhere, or you can only do it on an attribute if you do a desperate or train, right?
You can add your whatever XP you get from your triggers at the end. They can be allocated anywhere.
Okay,
The desperate has to go in the attribute.
Got it. Yeah. So Cornelius, where do you want to put him?
So I put the 2 to prowess to fill it up.
Beautiful. Where are you gonna put him
And
now? You get to upgrade. What are you gonna upgrade?
Finesse. I think like throwing vials and training with that, rifle in my previous downtime tries to make me more precise with things.
Roanoke, is that you, Roman?
No, that's not me. I'm Boomstick.
Oh, okay. Roanoke, yeah. The XP system is really great in this game. I completely agree. Roanoke's comment is, I really enjoy the XP system in this game. So do I. And what's great about it is that each player can focus on their triggers, and it really encourages them to play their character, which I just absolutely love. So you clear out your prowess, and you've got a nice little ding upgrade. Well done, Cornelius. All right, so then we go down. Express your belief, drive, heritage, or background.
I think not this one, but I struggled with issues from my trauma, so it would be the scary ghost did not make my exploration of the boxes go very smoothly, and basically triggered me to immediately execute the ghost ward to get rid of everything.
I'm good with it. I'm good with the haunted. Good. Where do you want to put that XP?
Let's continue with where is the Tinker Insight.
Got it. You're going to put it on Insight. Beautiful. All right. Reagan.
Yeah, so I think I did a couple things for my first trigger, which is addressing a challenge with knowledge or arcane power. I mean, the first chronologically was like pulling the whatever essence was like going on with the ritual itself, and like eventually using that later, as well as using my contacts within the Ghost Veil as an avenue to address like the issue of how are we going to get these fog hounds, messed me up on the name, to be dissuaded. I have like a third, but I think it works better into my beliefs. So I feel like that's an easy way of selling
So
it in my mind.
let's go. I'm good with both two of those. So where do you want to put those 2 XP?
They're going to resolve. Let's again put some charisma skills on this girl.
All right. So added 2 to your resolve. All right, so now your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
Yes. So one of the things that we have kind of decided as a party is to kind of have like concrete beliefs. This isn't something that the audience necessarily knows, but I think it's fun to kind of like start teasing these out. So one of Reagan's beliefs is that she doesn't fear death. There was no moment within that situation where she was worried for her own personal safety, because the lives of her crew are far more important and significant. So, like, facing down a probably extremely powerful witch just to say, like, use me however you would like, if it means that it doesn't fall back onto my companions.
Sold. XP. Where you want to put it?
That is, I'm going to give myself another point in resolve, and let's clear that out.
All right. And where is it? Where are you going to put it?
So, I kind of played around with this in our first score, but I'm kind of Reagan is like adapting some of the things that she did during her Blue Coat life to like apply it somehow here. It didn't necessarily come up this session. I was using much more of a sway, but I'm going to take a Pippin command.
Oh, I like it. All right. And then last but not least, struggled with your vice or trauma?
I didn't struggle with ghost therapy.
I agree. All right. So that takes care of XP. All right. So let's go through some downtime activities. Everybody gets 2 of them.
Sorry, did
what
we
did I
do
miss?
crew XP?
Oh, did we not do that? I thought we did.
Nope.
No.
Well, let's do crew XP. All right. So execute a successful burglary, espionage, robbery, or sabotage operation. That's an XP. So who wants to mark it?
Got it.
All right. Contend with challenges above your current station. No question. Mark it.
Should get 2 for that one.
Yeah.
Bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one. I think you guys were good until the end on that one. And especially,
Same as last time, funnily enough.
Yeah. I think paying them off was smart, but it does nothing for your rep. So we're not going to give you that. Express the goals, drives, or inner conflict or essence of nature of the crew. Now this is the foggy one. So who wants to make the case?
I have one for this.
Go for it.
So Galen hates the spooky stuff and would rather we not involve it in our mission. With Cornelius and Reagan's like specialties, we like really pushed to make it so rather than like going a route that Galen is more comfortable with, we really pushed to make it as spooky as possible. And then it got even more spooky.
Yeah, on top of that, we are now trying to make amends and build a relationship with the Spooky Sisters. And Galen just like, what am I doing here? Why? Right. Making a better life for the crew. Okay, I will try and deal with this. That's kind of his mentality on this one.
All right. Mark it.
Oh.
All right.
We are halfway there.
You are halfway there. All right. Who wants to start downtime?
Mind if I jump in there and go first?
Go for
No,
it.
Nick, what would you like to do?
All right. I'm still looking at now 6 stress, so I guess I'm not going to overindulge my vice on this one, but I think it's time to see good old Pa.
Gonna spend some more time with Dad?
Yeah, I'm going to stop at the liquor store, the brewery, the whatever this world calls a bar, packaged liquor store, whatever. Grab him a pint and take it to him.
All right. All right, they're going to stay clear stress. All right, so we're going to do that based off of what is your weakest attribute?
I believe it's now. Actually, it's resolve.
It's
So I have
resolve.
one-
Yep. So you roll one die, and whatever you roll is going to be how much you reduce by.
All right, I can just click Indulge Vice, right?
Yep.
Heyo!
Very nice. It was a great visit, and unlike the last visit, Nick, the conflict never popped up. He never got so drunk that he started to bring up old things that trigger you. It was truly just a wonderful, wonderful visit with Dad. And, you know, considering everything that has happened over the last several weeks, you know, you may not have been, Elias, as integral in the moment, but none of this would have happened without you. And I would imagine you're pretty proud of that. And I would imagine that your father was pretty proud as you related the story and how you successfully, you know, were able to do this. So yeah, let's go ahead and drop that by 6, my friend. Does that put you at 0 stress?
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Very
living
nice.
the Cornelius dream right now. Just
Very nice. Very nice. So the next morning, I imagine Cornelius is there making coffee and notices that Elias didn't spend the night in the lair, and Elias comes in, and Elias might be still a little drunk, and I see him kind of move himself over to Cornelius's couch, flops himself down on the couch, and passes out before Cornelius can even offer some coffee. All right,
Or some happy sleep
Roman. What is your first downtime activity, Roman?
First, Galen is going to do his usual, let's reduce the heat. Like, he's got to get out there and glad hand and spread the spider webs wherever they need to go to make us sound good and sound unnoticeable.
All right, so what are we going to use to do that?
Let's see, because that is... Yeah, because that's insight prowess or resolve, yeah?
Well, no, you can choose consort, you can choose command.
Yeah, we're gonna go with consort, because that's how he does this. He goes out and he starts chit-chatting, storytelling, and oh, you heard this happen. Yeah, I didn't hear that was the Umbral Means. That was somebody else. And the Umbral Means are, you know, stories that you tell your kids, unless you really need something done, and then, you know, contact a guy and they'll tell you what it costs. Is kind of how he goes here.
Give me a consort roll.
Alrighty. Oh wait, that's fortune roll, yeah? Because it doesn't really matter
just
the position.
Roll your consort.
Okay.
And yeah, standard, risky, standard, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right,
Alright,
let's drop the heat. On a 3, you drop it by 1.
And actually, I am connected, so I get +1 result level, so that gets to drop by 2.
That goes up to a 4. That means it goes to 2.
Excellent.
So go right into the Umbral Means, drop it by 2. You guys have done a really good job of controlling that heat. And what I love about that is it matches your untraceable, what the Umbral Means is trying to do. So I'm a huge fan of that. What's Cornelius doing in downtime?
Does it mean we're expressing the essential nature of the crew?
No. Nice try.
I had to do it.
Oh, also, just as a story element, while he's doing this, he does stop by his friend Celia's place to let her know, hey, I don't have anything for you to pay you back now, but I may have just opened a door that is going to lead us to some interesting tidbits, my friend. Cool.
Good. I'm good with that.
Okay. So
Cornelius, what is your first downtime?
So Cornelius is not in a sweet bliss of like last time. So Cornelius will indulge vice. Cornelius will visit.
What is your vice?
So my vice is. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong sheet. Sorry. It's faith, and I will be visiting a Malista, a priestess. You can even bring up the picture because it's not a
I
classic
can.
priestess, but we can see she's quite nicely well dressed, maybe in a let's say upper layers of society to say. And it's a priestess who I met on my home in what's the island name? I always forget. Iruvia, and I basically struggled there with the ghosts. Thus the ghost ward. Even it plays into the haunted one, and she was the one that told me, if you want to deal with your ghost, you need to go to Duskwall. There you can face your fears directly. And I'm facing my fears directly, but it's not working out as I expected because the ghosts are even worse than I thought originally. And I just want to get rid of all the ghosts because they are just the bad guys here, and they have no reason to be here, no reason, like once they die they should get out and leave the living beings alone.
Excellent.
So I visit the priestess, and the discussion goes this way. I explain what we did, what happened, and the only way to get out of it was to again use the ward to get rid of those ghosts, to just make them suffer and really make them not want to be there. But she tries to explain to me that that's not all what the ghosts do. It's not just to make me suffer. And it would be this conversation forth and back, trying to convince me that not all ghosts are that bad.
All right. Let's see how unstressed you become as a result.
So I click indulge twice, right?
That's correct.
Just. I don't even. Oh. That was not very convincing then.
No, apparently she did not make you feel much better about the situation. And what's kind of neat is narratively makes total sense. I mean, that was about as ghostly as things could get, what you faced and what you participated in. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and drop down to 6 stress for you. Reagan, where are we headed?
Yeah, so I'm kind of doing this sort of out of order, but just so we don't have Vice going immediately. But I would like to start a new long-term project. I know I have a whole ritual to deal with. Okay. But I promised the Dinner Sisters that I would provide them with research, something that perhaps they don't know because they're looking at it from different angles. So I'm starting a long-term project that I'm just kind of going to name like reparations. But okay. I like the idea of having it be like a long-term project because there's going to be other stuff that we're going to involve, but it's just kind of making that easier. And like I have 2 coin that Reagan does not care about, so that's also something I could push in. But for right now, it's going to be like the promise of research and a fresh perspective.
Well, and I think really, in my mind, the first phase of this, which gives you time to think about it, Joe, the first phase of this is figuring out what you could give them. Right. So really figuring out, what is it that I could offer them? So let's make it a 6-segment clock. And let's call it dimmer research. And what action are you going to use?
Study.
Okay. Let's go ahead and give it a roll.
It's just a fortune roll, so no bonus die. We're doing good, huh?
Wow. 3 segments. Go ahead and mark 3 segments on your clock. Very nice. Very, very nice. Filling that up is going to upgrade your relationship with the Dimmer Sisters.
Cool.
All right, Nick, your second downtime action.
Yeah, I'm going to sober up a little bit. Want to get back to the lair, take some of that Cornelius coffee that's so famous, and wasn't there someone else in the group that was using my father's machine shop with me when I was doing my rifle modification? Did anybody want to hop skip down to the good old machine shop with me for this adventure? Because I'm going to go do some more rifle modification on my long-term project.
Yep,
That was Cornelius, I believe.
it was.
Yeah, because I was crafting my Ghost Scourge, I think, which I will follow up quite quickly. So
All right.
that makes sense. I go with Cornelius to the shop.
So this
Sorry,
is-
with allies.
What attribute are we going to use?
I think it's going to be Tinker.
It's great. Let's give it a roll.
All right. Oh crap! Do I need to? I click on Tinker itself, or do I?
Yep.
And then position, and
Risky, standard, doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right, that's 2 segments with a 4.
All
So
right.
you are 2/3 of the way there, and if you remember, the rifle modification is going to make it so it'll take up 1 spot in your inventory versus the 2 spots that it takes up now. So that's nice. All right, Roman.
I am going to go ahead and following up from the tale telling of reducing our heat, have a few drinks and listen to whichever live music or comedians are at open mic night this night for reducing my stress.
I don't know why I have this image of you having just this one tavern that has the Duskval equivalent of open mic night, and it's awful. It's like there's several places where you can see amateurs, do spoken word poetry or something like that, but you purposely go to the one where it is just everybody's terrible. The comedians get no laughs. Nobody sings in key. The poetry is terrible, and that is just, it's enjoyable to Galen. And I think part of it is probably because it makes you just feel a little bit better about yourself.
Totally. He's feeling better about himself, and he's just like, man, this is so bad. It's whatever the Duskval version of meme worthy is.
That's phenomenal. All right, let's go ahead and indulge your vice.
Alrighty. Indulge vice.
Very nice, my friend. Good thing you didn't roll a 6.
Yep.
All right, so you do not overindulge, but you clear it all out. All right. Cornelius, what is our second downtime?
So since I'm at the shop, I will continue on my project of crafting a Ghost Scourge. If there was a point in my life I wanted a Ghost Scourge, it was after today's mission. I just need to get rid of those.
All right.
Definitely
so I assume
follow.
that's
So
gonna
I will tinker.
be Tinker, yeah.
So whatever, and that's a 6.
That's 3 segments, my friend. You have almost got yourself a Ghost Scourge. Reagan.
Yeah, so it's time for Reagan to do vice stuff, which means like it's kind of a flashback, because the idea of like the sort of like, I keep calling it ghost therapy, but it's actually like mechanically it is like something called reconciliation that ghosts can go through if there's been enough time, or in this case effort. And we kind of see post the score, pre everything blowing up and being terrible, that Reagan like splits off from the group as we're leaving, because we're in Crowsfoot, which has like heavy ghost activity, and it's almost like using some sort of using her presence as some sort of like lure, and basically like bringing a ghost for her to essentially like trap and do her ministrations upon. And I kind of feel like as she's like walking and kind of getting ready to begin doing this, she just kind of like tweaks the spirit bottle, and this time it's the same spirit bottle, but the form that comes out is very different. It is still in that like electric blue, but the form appears male. It is Tigerosi. Very long arms. There's almost like a second joint in the forearm.
Nice.
And there is one singular horn kind of stretching out onto like long flowing hair. And this form like shifts and like almost stretches and then like rests a arm around, or like pretends to rest an arm around Reagan's shoulder and says, "Reagan, you never told me that you were working with such attractive gentlemen. I would have loved to have met them. Why don't you let me have any fun?" Well, the situation changed, and the benefit is now that you have your free reign. Oh, goody. This form is, well, it has certain quirks. I do like it a bit, but could deal with something new. Off you go. Have fun. And blows a kiss and apparates into a nearby building.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's give it a roll.
And yeah, Reagan heads off to find a new ghost and do some therapy. Yep. Uh-huh.
Even Reagan was a little disconcerted with that interaction.
Yeah.
All right, that'll drop you down to 5 stress.
I
Or
know,
6.
that drops me to 6.
Oh boy, how the tables have turned on the
Yeah.
the post-score stress rackets there. Anybody spending coin to do a third downtime?
I think I'm gonna spend one.
Okay, go ahead and drop a coin.
Yep. And we're going to go ahead and take advantage of the training in our lair. Because Galen definitely, upon having the interaction with our new dimmer sister friend, question mark?
That's a stretch.
Yeah. Definitely upon that, he's realizing, okay, I don't like ghosty things, but I need to get good scrub. And if given a point of like you need to get good, he's gonna jump to insight. So that's where he's gonna start with his training via finding in our old library lair whatever books he can on like even better reading people and figuring out situations, reading tactics, anything he can get. He's just gonna clomp onto it, and that should turn into 2 XP because of our lair.
Beautiful.
Sweet.
All right, anybody else? Nick's got to head out. Nick, it was good seeing you, buddy.
See ya, Nick.
Yeah, thanks,
Bye,
y'all.
Nick.
Long live floorheads.
Boss
So
up, Joe,
Cornelius
anybody spending coin?
I'm spending a coin for sure because the interaction with Malista didn't work as I was expecting. She can't quite convince me that the ghosts there could be any good ghosts. So I'm spending the coin to find let's say, would I call it Ghost Fight Club? Maybe not Fight Club, but let's say it would be a place of people where they basically catch a ghost and torture one, just to get the anger out. And of course, it's not a common thing. Like it's still Duskwall, but you need to grease some hands to get into this area. It would be basically some cellar or some fake end of the canals that are there, and in the end there would be just somebody would unleash a ghost from the ghost bottle. What's it called? And spirit bottle. And
Yep.
we would be given by the organizer the instruments basically that would let the ghost suffer, and after this all ends, they just close the ghost back into the spirit bottle, and maybe this repeats the next week again.
Oh
We'll
boy.
see. So I just seems like somebody hates ghosts. So indulge twice, and let's see if the anger.
Coin well spent.
So I can imagine like he's ready to throw that electroplasmic rock at the ghosts. Just looking at all the others to make the spirit suffer horribly, but then just watches. After a few minutes, throws the rock on the ground and leaves the place, and
Nice.
undecided, like what's happening.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And you know, I wonder whether all this time with Reagan has not allowed you to enjoy it in the way you really would on a normal night. I like it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Joe, do you want to spend some coin?
I feel like I probably should.
Okay.
So the way I'm kind of going to justify this coin is like it is acquiring information, because a lot of what like the reconciliation process is like finding out like particular avenues, like getting the name of the ghost that she has like she's been talking to, and like only getting so many gaps, and like kind of needing to find extra things to kind of apply to reconcile this spirit. So I'll spend my coin. And let's see. Let's see, huh?
This is gonna be another indulge, right?
Yes.
It's
Brilliant.
the last time you guys spend coin to indulge. That drops you down to 5. All right, last but not least, I want to know, I want to know if we're going to do a claim or whether we need to come up with something else for the next score. So we got our covert drops. So we're looking at loyal fence, informants, or a turf. And remember, you don't have to do a claim.
I mean, does it make sense not to do it?
I mean, there's a ghost fighting ring that I'd love to bring in front of the crew to like break up. Like just hearing some things.
I mean, we could break up the ghost fighting ring and claim their area as our turf.
Oh, I like it. That would make so much sense in this context. So we go for
You
turf then.
All right, we're going to go for turf, and our target is going to be the ghost fighting ring. I want to then start off
about that.
Yeah, so what we'll do is we will start session 4 with some gather information, because even though Cornelius has been to this fighting ring before, no indication who's running it. And I think understanding who's behind it will probably dictate what you guys are going to do to shut this down and kind of reclaim this. So we'll start session 4 with us figuring out what the score is going to be specifically, but we know we're going to go for turf.
Just go there and buy the order of umbral means.
So Nate jumps in and says the only rule is we don't talk about Ghost Fight Club.
Right.
All right. So real quick, Cornelius, tell us crew about the Ghost Fight Club. You broke the one rule, Cornelius. Any questions in the chat? Real quick, those of you that are in the chat, feel free to pop any questions for the cast. This was heavy spooky, which not every score is going to be heavy spooky.
Yeah.
Joe, did you enjoy it?
Oh yes, I have been thinking about the I've been thinking about the Neric scene. I have been thinking about it was in a different context to what it actually ended up being, but I'm so glad we get to do all of the spooky stuff, and I'm glad to be able to have this chance to play a character who has emotions and is very different from Reagan. I was very excited about that.
What was the spookiest part for you, Roman?
Definitely the small child. That is all kinds of spooky, and that was for me personally. For Galen, though, it's actually the sister, like the sister showing up, because it's not just creepy child coming towards you. It's I am controlling these things. You hope.
Right. Nate says, I actually got chills a couple times. That was a really cool session. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Nate. Thank you. Creepiest part for you, Vaslav.
I mean, when the sister spoke the first time before she appeared, I was like, am I scared for real now? It was. I didn't expect that kind of modulation, and it worked perfectly. And I must say, kudos for.
Spend some time on it.
Yeah, I must say the intro, the immersion that you started it off, like we are like with the. I loved every part of it. I didn't want to interrupt it, but for sure, that great job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, good.
Fantastic.
Good.
For sure.
All right.
We really
So
hit on like some of my favorite things, which are like major like horror movie tropes. That's why I feel like there was this reaction of like, oh my god, this is so scary, and then just like, oh, I love it so much.
That makes me happy.
What I love,
that's definitely what I was going for.
I had an epic moment, but it wouldn't have worked if there wasn't the follow-up from the rest of the crew. That was such a great thing, and the rolling of the six, like everything that worked, like it was such a great moment, like that worked on multiple layers and great.
I had plans for you. I had plans for you with the haul. I had plans for you with the fog hounds showing up, and I got thwarted left and right with a simple 6 that worked out really well.
Yeah, Joe, if you could just do that every time.
Yeah. I'll have Reagan like diffuse the situation. Sure.
That was fantastic. And for those of you that stuck around, we plan on doing this again, and hopefully within 2 weeks. So keep your eyes open. If you're not following us on Twitch, go ahead and hit that follow heart for us. And if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, so that way you'll see as soon as it gets scheduled. And we'll see you next time for Session 4, Episode 4 of Blades